Hello and welcome to the webinar. Over the next few minutes, we will take you through how to run and customize key reports in IPA Books Plus. We'll also have a look at some of the settings and adding favorite reports as well too. The contents of this video is of a general nature and is for guidance only. IPA Books Plus does not provide professional or taxation advice. Viewers should consult with their professional body for advice on their specific circumstances. So let's jump into IPA Books Plus and let's have a look at the reporting within there. So I've got my book open, ready to go, and we're going to have a look at the settings to start with. So I go to the administration cog in the top right-hand corner, click on settings, and the first thing we look at here is under the general area, we've got report settings. So this is where, when I'm in there, I'm going to look at things like whether I want my defaults for my reports, particularly the profit and loss report, to be an accrual or cash basis. So entirely up to you. This doesn't affect things like the BAS or anything like that. It's a different area. This is just purely the default for when you run the reports in there. You can change it on the individual reports as well too. So this is just your preferred. We've got the aging basis, so which is your preferred transaction date or due date. Then below that, we have the PDF setup. So when you're producing a report to a PDF for printing, we've got some options in there. So you're going to have a header text in there. That might be your firm's name, for example. For reports like a trial balance or an account inquiry or the general ledger report, the time and date stamp is a handy one to turn on there. Footer text could be a disclaimer about the report and the page numbers as well too, so you can keep them in nice order. So we want to save that. So after I've saved that, let's go to reporting on the left-hand side and to the report center. This is where all the reports are stored in and broken down into various categories. It defaults to the financial to start with, so therefore we'll see things like profit and loss, balance sheet, trial balance, or the account inquiry, better known as general ledger report. And when we click on the drop down, we can see the different categories within here. So we've then got the tax category, and this will show you the GST summary, tax code transactions, tax code exception report. I talk about these in more detail in the GST and BAS webinar. So if you want to know more about them, have a look at that one. Same with the payroll one. So we've got a few reports in this category as well too. Some payroll summary, things like the employment payment schedule, contributions by employee or fund sort of thing, leave balances. Some quite good reports in there, and we'll talk more about those in the payroll webinar as well. The banking report, or banking section, I should say, that allows us to go back and look at the bank reconciliation report or statement report after I've already completed those tasks within Books Plus. The employee expenses report, so this is just any expense claims, just gives you the transactions on there with grouping options, so we can have a look at those. And as I say, I'm going to come back to some of these. I'm just giving an overview of all these categories. Timesheets is the next category that we're going to touch on here. And this is showing the employees' timesheet entries for a given period. Further on down is some analytics reports. So these are some graphical reports that we've got. So age debtor, creditor summary, top customers, top suppliers, and so forth. And then the traditional customers area. So this one, age debtors, age debtor transactions, invoice lists, so and estimates, uninvoiced amounts. So we've got quite a few going through there. Same with the suppliers. So this is where we'll find our various reports relating to the suppliers. So we've got our age creditors, creditor transactions, bill lists, so forth, unpaid bills as well. We've also got the advisor area, and that's where we've can see in there. So things like a payment list, receipt list, journals, ledger transactions, or transaction line items. Those last two are great if you're wanting to export the data out to import into a general ledger system that you use. Some list reports. So this is just things like an account list for the chart of accounts, bank accounts. So it's just a fairly sort of just grabbing out those sort of lists of those sort of things that you need in there. And finally, we do have an option for all. And when I'm on the all reports, it does show all the reports that are available in one big list. And you do have a search option. So if you wanted to look for anything relating to debtors, for example, I can look for that through there. You'll notice this little heart sort of thing in a lot of places. So when I click on that, it's making that report a favorite report. So they become a quick selection on the left-hand side here. And so when I want to get into those, I can just quickly run to those. That's also available as a category list at the top called favorites. And there's some that I've already favorited in here. Let's have a look at I'm going to have a look at a bit more detail on a few reports in here. So I'm going to look at the profit and loss to start with. So one beauty of IPA Books Plus is where I've got the generate button. So I can click generate, it runs a report. But if I'm wanting to run a few reports, I can actually right click and open in a new tab. And so therefore these are going to open in new tabs. So then I can sort of flick between them. I don't have to do backwards and forwards sort of thing in the system. So if I'm looking at my profit and loss report there, so we can see this starts as a default with just this current year, no comparison period. So what I can do is I can choose there, and I can choose my comparative period as well too. So I can look at my last financial year to date, because this is going to be this financial year to date as well too. So I can swap that over. Now it is a hard refresh. It's not a soft refresh. So I have to click that button to the refresh button on the right for it to produce that. You'll notice because I've got a comparison period now, it actually gives me a percentage variance by default within there. I can further customize this report as well too by clicking show more options. I can change the sort option. I can look at sub accounts, how I want them displayed as well too. I can look at projects as well, if there's any projects in there, and projects we discuss in another webinar as well too, but it's just job costing. So I can run a profit and loss based on each project. And then the columns I want to display. Now I don't want codes to show. I can have a dollar variance as well too. And this is where I've got the option to change my reporting basis between cash or accruals. And then there's a net position summary. Yes, you want it to show or not. So if I just close that up and I just go refresh, we can see the changes come through on this report that we've just run. So I can see I've now don't have that code column. I now have the dollar variance and percentage variance column, and I can scroll on down. And this is that net position summary that was on the bottom of the options there. I can drill down on any of these. I've got that ability if I want to drill down on, say, anything in here. If I want to drill down on the repairs and maintenance, I can do that. It then takes me through to the account inquiry report, and it'll display all those transactions there. And I can further drill down if I want to make any further adjustments within them. Now, if I just go back to the profit and loss report now as well too. So let's go back one screen, back to that report. If I want to print these reports, I can export to PDF. I've got the option to export to CSV, Excel, RTF as well. So I've got a whole range of different ones within there. Now, just one other report that I want to show you so you can find your way through those. If I go to the report center, if I choose under my analytics reports, if I have a look at that, there's one here for the age debtor summary report. So we're used to the traditional debtors report that shows the 30, 60, 90 days, and of course the current in there as well too. But under the analytics, the age debtor summary actually will show it as a graphical representation in the colors there. So it can have more of a visual impact on the person that's chasing up the up those figures as well as having the option down the bottom there as well too. So it's a nice report to run with that. So that's just a sample of some of the reports that I can run in Books Plus. So what I'll do now is I'll finish off with a couple of other tips, and we'll go from there. So if you do need any further help on the reporting or anything else in IPA Books Plus, go to help.ipabooksplus.com. A very comprehensive help section there. You can search for what you want, like just a Google search sort of thing, and then it will have details step by step and screenshots of what you need to look for. If you still need further assistance, please get in touch with us at member-inquiries@ipabooksplus.com and we'll be more than happy to help you out. I would like to thank you for attending to the webinar today, and we look forward to seeing you at some other ones in the future. Thank you and goodbye.